So I'm going to do a quick review on the Ruger LCP Max. I bought this thing about 8 months ago, and I was real pleased with the capacity. And I've put about 1,000 rounds through it at this point. I had a number of problems with it at the beginning, the outset of my adventure with this gun. One of the big ones was the magazine would pop out like every 5 or 6 rounds. It would just pop out into my hand. And that was obviously less than ideal. Additionally, another problem that it had was failing to feed and failing to eject. So, I mean, it had a lot of problems right from the get-go. So I called Ruger, and they tried to solve it by sending me a new magazine, which didn't solve any of the problems. So I pulled the gun apart and I was looking at it. And called them again, and they asked me if both my recoil springs were in good condition. And I said, recoil springs? It only came with one. And they said, no, it should have an outer and an inner. And I was like, it didn't come with an inner spring. So they quickly sent me an inner spring, free of charge. I didn't have to pay shipping or anything. And that solved most of the problems. The failing to feed, failing to eject problems were solved almost immediately. And the magazine ejecting problems, the magazine popping out issue, persisted, but it didn't happen as frequently. So I kind of did a bunch of experimentation with my hand position, and the magazine release catch initially comes on the left side of the gun. And I figured out that because it has a lot of recoil, so it's a real snappy gun, when I was firing, every so often my thumb would brush this catch. And it might be that it was too loose, it might have loosened up over time, I'm not sure. But what I did was I flipped it. So it's a little awkward now to operate it because I'm right-handed, so I have to do this to operate the catch. But flipping the catch around solved the magazine popping out issue. So it was, in fact, my hand brushing it. Now you could still make an argument that, well, even if your hand brushes it, it shouldn't just pop out like that. It sounds like the catch is too weak, it's worn down or something. But that may be, I don't know. What I've done fixes it, and I'm not doing competition shooting with this. And, you know, it's a self-defense weapon. So the purpose is to get somebody off me effectively. I mean, this gun doesn't have particularly good accuracy at ranges over 7 yards. I would argue it doesn't even have very good accuracy at ranges up to 7 yards. You know, it's a really short barrel, and apparently it has a 1 in 16 twist rate. And if you look, you can kind of see the grooves, the rifling grooves are really shallow. So you have to make sure you clean this barrel like every time you go and shoot, basically, because if you get carbon buildup or copper buildup or whatever buildup in there, it covers up the edges of the grooves, and effectively you end up with a straight pipe gun. And when that happens, the bullets just kind of go all over the place.
Just it's not real accurate. So you got to make sure it's clean. If you make sure it's clean, it's more accurate, but still it's not going to be great in terms of long distance shooting. It's going to be terrible in long distance shooting. It's going to be not so good at regular distance pistol expectations. It's just not made to do that kind of thing. This is made to be carried in your pocket and whipped out in an emergency self-defense situation where the assailant is not too far away and probably getting closer. That's about it. You want to target shooting gun, get something else, because it's not very pleasant to shoot over and over and over again because it's real snappy. And then the aforementioned problems. If you want a battle pistol, get something else. Get something bigger. Get something in 9mm. Get something with a longer barrel, with a better twist rate, deeper grooves, just all kinds of things that would make it better. What this is for is it's a very, very comfortable gun to carry around all day, every day, with an impressive capacity in the magazine of 12 rounds for the extended and then 10 for the flush fit. And it's pretty well priced. I think I paid $400 for this thing. I changed the front sight. I took the high-vis night sight off because it has, to be blunt, and I know this may sound stupid, it has tritium in it. And for those of you who may have read the news about Fukushima and paid close attention, Fukushima is dumping radioactive waste into the Pacific Ocean. That it's been treated, but it's still radioactive, and the isotope that's remaining is tritium. So I don't really want to have a little vial of radioactive waste in my pocket next to my special parts, like day in, day out. And you can argue with me all day long about it's just a tiny amount of tritium. The radioactive, particles, it's beta particles, and they only extend 6 millimeters out. I don't care. You're talking about radioactive waste in a glass ampule next to my genitals. I'm not doing that. I don't care what perceived benefits I get. I'll just shoot more rounds at night at the thing that's assailing me if I really have to, and take the risk of that rather than the risk of whatever is going to happen to my body when it's exposed to radioactive isotopes of hydrogen for weeks, months, years, etc. So anyways, bottom line, would I buy it again? Probably not. I wouldn't. No, I would just buy something in 9mm. There are plenty of 9mm micro compacts that are comparably priced. I mean, even the Taurus GX4. I know Taurus is a questionable reliability, but it's a 9mm and it's got a longer barrel and it's got, I think it has 10 or 11 rounds capacity in the flush fit, the GX4, and it has 1 in 10 twist on its barrel. So I haven't fired one, but I suspect it's more accurate than this at greater distances, and it's probably just as easy to carry. And again, around the same price point. And once you get past with the GX4, the recall issue of it firing when you drop it, as long as you make sure you don't have one of those GX4s, it's probably a fine gun. So I might get one of those, or I might get a Hellcat. Am I going to get rid of this? No, because as you can see, I've gussied it up. I put a Galloway Precision short stroke trigger on it, which does help a lot. It makes the take up a lot better. It's a much shorter take up. It feels crisper. I don't know if it actually is, but So I did that, and of course I had it Cerakoted gold because, whatever, I'm stupid. And I painted 2 little gold dots on the rear sight, which was pretty abysmal to begin with, and now is still abysmal, but like prettier in its abysmalness. So yeah, I wouldn't buy it again. I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to carry it around until I can get my hands on a 9mm micro compact. So there you go. If you really want something that's in 380, very small, very comfortable to carry around all day long, and carries about as much 380 as you can get into a package this small, then yeah, go for it. But just know you're gonna run into some potential issues, like magazines popping out, accuracy, irradiating your nuts, and then finally, if Ruger didn't send you the inner recoil spring, like they didn't send me, or they didn't package the gun originally with mine, lots of failures to feed and lots of failures to eject. So there you go. Thanks for watching.